What's up everyone and welcome back to Reload Reacts episode 62. My name is Trey and today we are going to look through r/EntitledParents, the subreddit for those wonderful stories of mums or dads thinking that because they have kids they are entitled to anything and everything. This first post is by Just Millie. My aunt asked me to give my graduation money to her son. Family helps family. This just happened last year. I graduated from UNLV, nothing huge, just a small backyard thing with some friends and family. I got like $500 total in cards from people, some cash, couple gift cards, super appreciated. Next day, my aunt, my mum's sister, calls me and goes, "So, you gonna share some of that money with Jordan?" Jordan's her 20-year-old son who dropped out of college last year and hasn't really been doing much. I laughed at first, thought she was messing around. She was dead serious. She said something like, "You know he's been struggling and you're lucky to graduate. It'd be nice if you passed some of that along." I told her no, it was a gift for me. She got weird and said I was acting brand new and hung up. Then told my mum I was selfish. My mum just said, "Then maybe your kid should graduate first." Whole thing was so weird lol. Haven't heard from Jordan either. That would be because that is weird. That is a very weird situation to be in. You can share the money if you want, but you're certainly not obligated to it. He seems like a bit of a deadbeat and you graduated, you should get the gift that you deserve. Sparkly Garbage says your aunt can share her money with him if she feels that way. You're not responsible for helping out a 20-year-old who's more than capable of getting a job. Also, shout out to your mum for her response. Yeah, exactly. He should have a job. He should have his own money. You shouldn't need to be giving him your money because he can't be bothered to get a job. Lucky to graduate is also weird phrasing, like he chose to drop out. This next post is by Couch Potato San. EM tried to sue me for drugging her child. I, 19F, am a server at a restaurant with a bar in it. The bar side of the restaurant is, of course, 21 plus, and anyone who orders an alcoholic beverage is required to show the waiter their ID. The rest of the restaurant, however, is child friendly. We were serving breakfast and I was serving a table of 2. A young girl who looked about 8 or 9 and her entitled mother, EM. However, this mum is more than just entitled, as she will be arrested by the end of this story. I go and take their drink orders after the hostess sits them down. The young girl gets an orange juice while the mother gets a water and mimosa. I, of course, check the mum's ID and see that she's born in the early 80s, so she's good for a mimosa. I let the bartender know that I need a mimosa to serve, and I work on the orange juice for the child, and the mother's water. Once I have all 3 drinks, I serve their table and take their meal orders. Everything seems to be going smoothly until I bring back their drinks. As I bring back the plates, the mother screams at me, "You served my child alcohol!" I know for a fact that that cannot be true, because I'm the one who made the juice and never even went behind the bar where the drinks are. "Ma'am, you must be mistaken. I didn't put any alcohol in the juice, and I had my eyes on it until it reached your table." "Well then smell it." She handed me a child's glass and it did smell like alcohol. Once again, I know that I did not put alcohol in your child's drink. Either someone did it while you weren't looking or you did it yourself. But the juice had not had alcohol before it came to your table. The mum looked at me angrily and demanded to see my manager. "I'm going to sue you for giving my child alcohol. Bring me your manager." I get the manager and she gets both mine and the mum's side of the story. Security was even alerted because apparently the child had drunk a few sips of the alcohol. My manager, security and I went and watched the security footage since both me and the mum swore we didn't put alcohol in the juice. Not only did we discover that I was innocent, but we saw the mum, as soon as I have placed the glasses down and left, drink half of the child's juice and fill it back up with her mimosa. And then she instructed her child to drink some of it. The mother was arrested for giving her child alcohol and was given a lifetime ban from the restaurant. If she appears again, she will immediately be arrested. Not how I planned my work morning. But at least it was amusing to watch an EM get what she deserved. Edit. I was informed by someone who spoke to the kid that they didn't even want orange juice and hate orange juice. Her mum told her to order it just so that she could mix the drinks. The child originally wanted chocolate milk. You best believe I made sure she got her chocolate milk. What was the plan there? Why did the mum do that? Just some crazy people, man, damn. What the heck? What was her endgame here? Free meal? Just trying to cause drama? Having your young child ingest alcohol is mental. I'm so glad y'all had video footage and got her arrested. Yeah, I agree with that. This person's clearly got a few bolts loose. I don't know what her endgame was. This next post is by BlackCat218. Had my turn at "you're too old for that, give it to my kid" today. So I was doing some grocery shopping at my local Aldi today, and I was wearing my hat that has Pokemon patches on it. It's just a black cap with 3 patches, a Psyduck, a Magikarp, and a Gyarados. Got to the checkout, and there was this woman there with her 2 kids. The kids were misbehaving and she was yelling at them. Already a red flag. That's when the boy saw my hat and said, "Mom, I like her hat." The next thing I know, the woman is telling me to give my hat to her kid because I am too old for it. She even tried to reach over and yank it off my head. I told her to go away and that I didn't have to give my hat to her or her kid, and stuffed it up under the jumper I was wearing, checked out and left. Anywho, it's not much, but there's my encounter with an entitled parent. Yeah, it's so weird. Why would you do that? That's just theft. This next post is by QuickEstimate4188. Entitled Stepmom told me to tone down my wheelchair at her wedding. I, 25F, have been using a wheelchair since 18 due to a spinal injury. It's sleek and metallic purple, my favourite colour, and something that makes me feel a little more like me. My dad recently remarried and his new wife, EM, is, well, something else. A few weeks before the wedding, she called me and said, "Hey, for the ceremony, can you maybe rent a black wheelchair? Or at least one that doesn't look so flashy?" I asked why and she said, "You'll be in a lot of pictures and I don't want it to be a distraction." I told her flat out, I'm not dimming myself for her aesthetic. She went crying to my dad. To his credit, he backed me up, said I could come however I wanted or not at all. She gave me side-eye all wedding day, but I rolled in bright purple and all, and got compliments from other guests about how cool it looked. And now that she's married in, she barely talks to me. Not that I'm complaining. I wouldn't complain about that either. I would want to talk to that person as little as possible, OP. Maybe you should add some glitter or lights next time you're talking to her. This next post is by Brins89. My family disowned me 15 years ago, complete no contact. Now all at once, they want back in my life and are stalking me. I finally confronted them. Wow, okay, so that was complete opposite ends of the line. Cool. Don't do either of these. I don't know if this goes here, I just needed to get it out. I confronted them today and I can't stop crying or shaking. I don't know why, I don't know what's wrong with me right now. I'm finally calming down a little to get this done. Sounds like you're having a bit of a panic attack, OP. I hope you're okay. So I, 36 male, got into some trouble 15 years ago. I take all the responsibility for this, and even to this day I carry all the shame, guilt, and embarrassment for it. Also, this might come up. This is not cultural or religion, it's just shame to the family name. Okay. The situation was when I was 19, my ID was stolen and being used in another state, and created a situation where my driver's license was suspended worldwide. Somehow, any and all notifications from the other state never made it to me. I started doing all the necessary things I needed to do to try and fix the problem. I, however, had a couple of tickets in my current state that I needed to pay, but couldn't, because I needed to pay my rent and keep my apartment. Also at the time, my full-time job was having problems and was borderline shutting down, so to try and make ends meet, I was doing a lot of freelance work as well. Again, my fault. I knew the company was in trouble, but I was still holding out hope that things would get better. I was hoping that a couple more freelance jobs and I would be able to finally pay the tickets. This was never the case, and long story short of it, I was arrested and spent 2 weeks in jail. Not ideal, but I guess in the long run it worked out for the best by clearing the tickets in my home state. However, my family felt otherwise and I was completely disowned because of this. I lost everything and everyone. The only reason I still had my apartment was because I had enough to cover the rent and the freelance work kept up. It took another 6 months, but I was finally able to get the other state to release my driver's license. I decided that since my family hated me, I didn't need them. So a year later I changed my last name, phone number and email. My social media is locked down so tight you would think I was hiding national security secrets. I was able to finish college and get settled into my career, and at this point I'm happier than I've ever been. Enter current time, and 2 weeks ago there was a knock on my door and it was my mum and dad. Again, it had been 15 years and I had not spoken to them not one word. The only thing I could get out of my mouth was, "How did you find me and what are you doing here?" My mum's response was, $5,000 to a PI. Finally, a search of Facebook with just your first name found you, and the PI confirmed it was you. I responded, "You didn't answer my second question, what are you doing here?" My mum again, "It's been 15 years. Looking at where you are, it seems you have learnt your lesson and you are succeeding. You've missed out on a lot of things." I ended with, "Yes, I've learnt my lesson. One of them is I don't think anyone will ever help you or be understanding, even your family. And yes, I did succeed, and I did it entirely without you. Please leave and don't ever come back." Shut the door in their face, locked it, checked the back door and closed all the curtains. I'm guessing they hung around for another 15 minutes, knocking, demanding to be let in. I went back to bed, turned the fan on high and went to sleep. I did some research, and I have missed out on a lot. I have nieces and nephews, brothers and sisters-in-laws. But the truth is, I don't know any of them and I don't think I need to. I live a very quiet life. I can count on 2 hands how many friends I actually have. A friend said I may have taken it too far, that I should have given them a chance, and if I didn't like what they had to say then I could have told them to go away. I was hoping that this was going to be the end of it. But no, they have taken to stalking me. I'll be completely honest, they are harmless but just a real pain in the A. And also, I have been effing with them and having some fun with the help of a friend. He now calls them fleas and will check on me asking if I have fleas or not. It's kind of funny. If I say yes, then it's game on. The first night he came over and we walked downtown to a really expensive restaurant that I knew they were never going to go to. Another night we went to the adult movie store. That was the best one. This past week, the way my days off fell, I had a 5-day stretch. So I decided to go to the city for a few days. I'm walking distance to the Amtrak station and they followed me. I kept my AirPods in the whole time and I know they were trying to talk to me, but I ignored them the entire time. People on the platform were even telling me that they were talking to me, and I said that I know but I don't want to deal with them. The train came and I got on and left them to watch. I loved it. It got to the point I finally had to acknowledge them. They weren't going to go away. So we met at the park across from my apartment. I didn't hold anything back. I told them that this was their one and only time I was going to talk to them. I took a page from the Matlock series and told them I was their judge, I was their jury. Thank you, Olympia Lawrence. I then told them, as far as I was concerned, they were guilty of everything and anything, and all I was doing was hearing what they had to say before I walked away from them. I asked them that why now after 15 years are they demanding to be back in my life and why they made the decisions they did to disown me. They told me that I ruined the family name and that the shame I brought to the family was horrible and that this was the only way to make it right was to get rid of me. They said that recently my name has been coming up in conversation and that the family has grown with a lot of new people. That brother and sister-in-law are asking questions about who is Brindley. That I have a niece who they think I would love and get along with, and the same for a nephew who was born last year and now should be the time to fix things. They said that looking at my apartment and the life I had, that I must have learnt my lesson about being a better person and managing my life better. I finally cut them off and told them that I couldn't stand to hear anymore. I was at the point I could hear my heart beating in my ears. I told them that I did everything completely by myself. Nobody from that life exists anymore. Not one person. that they need to just tell everyone the truth, that I was in jail for 2 weeks, and because of this, the decision was made to get rid of me. I told them that I did it all on my own, and that my one cousin Jean, who is only a cousin by marriage, was the one who was there for me, hence why I took her last name. I told them that to this day I'm doing everything on my own and rely on nobody and don't need or want them in any way of my life. They made their decisions and I'm making mine. I told them this will be the last time we talk and that I would be going to see a lawyer to see if there was anything that could be done to keep them away from me, and that if they continue to follow me around or show up at my apartment, I would have them arrested for trespassing. And I went back home and again locked everything down, pulled the curtains, and have been crying since. I'm sorry. Over traffic tickets? What? That's crazy. It's traffic tickets. Huh? They disowned you over a couple of traffic tickets? The real damage to any honor they have is that they didn't help out their son when he was in financial trouble. I'm willing to bet that they want money from you now that you're living a good life. Yeah, that was what I was thinking as well. Judging by your apartment, it shows that you've learnt your lesson. Judging by his apartment, it shows that you want money. Yeah, no. I don't think so. This next post is by Desperate Letters 679. Entitled Mom demands my daughter's plushie mid-flight because her son is tired. I-27F was on a 5-hour flight last weekend with my 3-year-old. It was her first time on a plane, so to keep her calm, we brought her favourite stuffed fox, her comfort toy. She clutched that thing like a lifeline during takeoff. About an hour in, a boy maybe about 5 or 6 in the row ahead of us starts crying and fussing. No big deal. We've all been there. His mum turns around and points at my daughter's stuffed fox and goes, "He's just really overstimulated. Would she mind sharing our toy for a bit?" I blinked, then said gently, "Sorry, she doesn't share this one. It helps with her anxiety." She sighed dramatically and said, "This is why kids today are so selfish." I didn't respond, but then she whispered, not quietly, "Some people shouldn't be allowed to have kids if they can't teach them basic manners." Oh, okay. Well, that flipped a switch. So I said loud enough for others to hear, "If you're that worried about your kid's comfort, maybe pack something he actually likes instead of trying to guilt trip strangers into handing theirs over." Several people around us muttered seriously, or gave her the side eye. The flight attendant even offered my daughter some stickers and told EM to stop harassing other passengers. She didn't say another word for the rest of the flight. It's crazy when you're a kid and you have to share everything because you're a kid and you have to share everything. I get the moral of like sharing is good, but you don't have to share everything all the time. You can politely decline and you're not the bad guy because you politely declined. It's okay to do that. You don't have to say yes to giving someone money. You don't have to say yes to borrowing someone's car, And in that same respect, you don't have to say yes if someone wants to borrow your toys or a game or whatever. It's up to you. You can politely decline that, and it shouldn't change just because you're younger and have less authority. That's not really fair. We're all human. This next post is by Low Macaron 7670. My mum signed me up for prom as someone's Make-A-Wish date. This still makes my blood boil, and it happened back in my senior year. I, 18F, was born with a pretty visible birthmark across half my face and had multiple surgeries to help, but the scars remain. I've also been deaf since birth. Despite that, I've been pretty confident and had a few close friends. Well, I decided not to go to prom because it just wasn't my scene and I wanted to save money. Totally understand that, 100% agree. 1 week before prom, my mum sat me down smiling ear to ear and said she got me a date. She had signed me up to go with a boy in our town who was recovering from leukemia. I didn't even know him. His mum and mine are apparently friends and agreed it would be so sweet if they went together. They even posted a photo collage of us online like it was some rom-com. I called her out immediately. She said, "I just thought this would be your only chance to go to prom." I said, "Why? Because I'm deaf and have scars?" She didn't answer. I cancelled everything. I didn't go. And the worst part, that poor boy thought I had set it up. He apologised for my mum's behaviour when he found out. My mum still tries to frame it like I missed out on a beautiful moment. Nah, I dodged a manipulative nightmare. That's insane. The control that she thinks she has is ridiculous. This next post is by Fair Necessary 7448, entitled Grandma Demands to Be in the Delivery Room, Brings Security When I Say No. I, 26F, just had my first baby. My mother-in-law is intense. She believes all family members should be in the delivery room. I only wanted my husband and my mum. That's it, no negotiations. Mother-in-law threw a fit when we told her. She said, "It's my grandchild. I have the right to be there." I reminded her that it's my body. She cried to the rest of my family and told them I was being cruel and trying to cut her out. The day I went into labour, she actually showed up at the hospital with a hospital security officer, claiming I was confused and wanted her there. The nurse said, "Ma'am, if you don't leave voluntarily, we'll escort you out." She left, red-faced, and then called my husband 43 times while I was pushing. He put his phone on silent. We haven't seen her since, and honestly, it's been the most peaceful postpartum recovery I could have asked for. Yeah, I would be happy to, not see that person since. That sounds like a positive to me, actually. Maybe even a restraining order. You know? Just putting it out there, random thought, complete coincidence. This next post is by JABMWR. A small child punched me in the stomach because I wouldn't let him pet my dog who was clearly in distress. His parents got mad at me. My very old dog was outside in our yard, foaming at the mouth, gasping for air, and it was coming out the other end. Wow. This was right after he had incontinence in the house. I was crashing out because the vet said he could die any day, so I'm thinking this is the end. I'm in the yard figuring out what to do, and I see in my peripheral vision some kid running up to us on my yard. This is not one of the neighborhood kids. He's from a party up the street. His mum said, "Hope it's okay if they play. My son is due for a doggy play date." I physically put myself in between the child and my dog. The child effing punched me in the stomach. It took everything in me not to physically retaliate to a child. Sorry, call me a bad person, I don't care. I respectfully restrained her child by the arm and marched him to his room. She freaked out that I put my hands on her son. I ignored her because my dog was my only priority. Then the effing dad struts over to us and starts screaming in my face to never lay a hand on his kid again. His son just wanted to pet your dog. I was so overstimulated because the kid was screaming bloody murder, having a tantrum that he can't pet my dog. Meanwhile, my dog has a tonic-clonic seizure. They suddenly got real quiet and finally backed off. I hear the mum tell her son, "The doggy isn't feeling well, we have to go let him rest." Those parents are so effing lucky I am a healed person. I sat in my yard with the dog in the dark until the vet came to my house. My dog couldn't walk after everything that had just happened. He weighs nearly as much as I do, so I needed help moving him. My husband was away for work. This was on Wednesday. We had to put my dog down on Friday. Aw, that's a little bit sad. But the kid punching the woman in the stomach is insane. Also, the EM is dumb because sick dogs can bite and hurt people. The kid could have been injured as well, but the kid assaulted this woman. That's not something to overlook. Anyway guys, I think that's gonna be it for today. I hope you enjoyed the stories in r/EntitledParents. Let me know what you'd like to listen to next in the comment section below, and also hit that subscribe button because I post new Reddit content every single day. There are 2 videos on the screen, one of which is for the most recent video, and another is for a video the YouTube algorithm thinks you'll want to watch next. My name is Trey, this was Reload Reacts, and I will see you in the next video.